hello, members of the Pride, and welcome to another vlog, and Merry Christmas! Happy New Year! As you can see, I'm wearing something unusual today. Can you possibly, perhaps, correlate this to anything in particular that might be a Christmas tradition somewhere? Perhaps some sort of Christmas story involving a young prepubescent youth with big glasses and well, I don't have the big glasses, but this is I have to wear my glasses, but by chance it's a Christmas story. Okay, so this year has actually been kind of fun. I just got this costume last night. I went to my annual Christmas party with my family, and we have kind of this round robin Secret Santa thing that we do every year, where instead of buying gifts for the whole family, we basically just buy one really nice gift for one member of our family, and then of course we buy gifts for the kids, and we buy gifts for. But this year, my sister and her husband had me, and ironically, I had her husband, and they decided to. They actually gave me 3 gifts, which I was kind of surprised about. I was expecting, it's just supposed to be 1 gift. But they got me 3 gifts, and this is one of them. So there's actually a history behind this outfit here. Not the outfit itself, but when I was younger, when I was in my teenage years, early 20s, I loved The Christmas Story. It wasn't my favorite movie of all time or anything, but I loved it. It was really cool. And what I thought was really, really kitschy about it, what was really funny about it, was this outfit. Was the whole Ralphie in the bunny suit with the rabbit feet, and I mean, well, you're not gonna be able to see that one, but you can kind of see right there. I always thought that was probably the funniest part of that whole movie, was when the kid would come down, and Ralphie would come down dressed in the full bunny suit. Sorry guys, I gotta take this thing off. It's choking me and it's really interfering with recording. Okay, adjust that, and okay, I can breathe. Zen. Okay, so we with this movie, I thought it was really kitschy, and so for the longest time, I didn't want the full outfit per se, but what I really wanted was the fuzzy pink bunny slippers, because I thought the fuzzy pink bunny slippers were the funniest part of the entire outfit. And so I went around telling everybody that, if you're going to give me a gift, I really want fuzzy pink bunny slippers that squeak when you walk. And people were like, oh, you mean like Ralphie? Like, yeah, like Ralphie. Well, do you want the full outfit? I was like, well, I wouldn't mind the full outfit. That would be kind of cool. But, how the heck are you ever going to get the full outfit? So I just want fuzzy pink bunny slippers that squeak when you walk. And so for a couple of years, people were looking for these for me. But they just, Christmas Story wasn't popular back then. It didn't become kind of kitschy like it is now. And there weren't a whole lot of options for costumes for it either, because it didn't have its popularity. It didn't have its nostalgia. Now, of course, it's a nostalgia piece, and you're able to get stuff like this. But back then, I mean, you looked around, and it's like, you could find rabbit slippers, you could find pink slippers, you could find pink slippers that squeaked, but you couldn't find fuzzy pink bunny slippers that squeaked. And so for the longest time, people were I got a couple of people who were just went out there and they tried their best, but they didn't. It didn't hit until one year. My mom actually went out and found the fuzzy pink bunny slippers that squeaked, and It was perfect. I loved them. I wore them all the time, especially when there was people around. I would go out in public and just walk around in these fuzzy pink bunny slippers and squeaking while I went. And they were very kitschy, and it was great. I loved it. But what? But unfortunately, about what was it? Maybe about a decade ago, I was living with a person, and I had stored like tons and tons and tons of my stuff inside her barn. Because I was basically living off of the good graces of other people because I was having a lot of trouble with my finances, and so I was living in her house, and I had to store all of my stuff in her barn. And unfortunately, the barn was not waterproof, not remotely, and almost everything I owned, uh, without my knowledge, got absolutely drenched during the rainy season, and I mean, my stuff was destroyed. There was so much flood damage and so much water damage that I mean, every costume I ever owned, which was literally thousands of dollars worth of costumes, destroyed, including my fuzzy pink bunny slippers. And it was heartbreaking. It was absolutely heartbreaking. But I mean, I kind of wrote it off, said, well, so much for that. It was a great idea while it lasted, but such is life. You move on. Well, this year, apparently, my sister was doing Halloween shopping and came across this, and she just said, "Oh, I'm getting that from my brother," and the and I guess that was a part of my Christmas present. So when I wrote, because every year we write down a Christmas list to so that our secret Santa just know what we want. And apparently, when I wrote down my Christmas list, it was all for nothing because they had already bought what they were going to get for me. They just decided they already knew what they were going to get, and so I ended up getting this whole outfit, which is absolutely fantastic. I love it. And I was extremely excited when I got it. I must have giggled for 5 minutes. But this wasn't the only thing that I got for Christmas. So I mean, I also check this out, guys. I have only so much leeway with this cord. Unfortunately, I'm having to make do with a very short microphone cord right now because my other one frayed too much. I have to replace it, but money's tight. You know how that goes. I also got this slow cooker, which is actually very heavy, and it's a nice quality one too. It's small, which is perfect for me. I'm just alone here, so yeah, it's a nice little slow cooker. Which I was very excited about. So I get to learn how to slow cook now. That'll be really cool. I do enjoy cooking to some extent. I'm not like a chef or anything. It's not a hobby or anything. But every once in a while, I kind of get the itch to cook, especially chili. I'm big on chili, and this is really great for chili. So I was really excited about that. But this next one. Brace yourself, guys. Check this out. Okay, so pop quiz, hotshot. What was the first official mass-produced game console in the United States? Anyone? Anyone? It wasn't the one that I got here. Actually, I believe the first one was like in television or something like that. I can't remember off my head. But this was the first one to make popularity, and it was the Atari 2600. Well, recently they created the Atari Flashback, which has like 105 different games pre-programmed into it, and you guys can kind of see. Here, let me see if I can put this up close so you guys can kind of see the games. Oh, well, okay. I'm really bad at this, so I'm just gonna kind of slowly pan. You guys can just stop it and stop the video and check it out if you want to. It's got all those different games on it, and I mean, I opened this up and I just my jaw dropped. I was stunned. This was the very first game console I ever got. Was the Atari 2600. It's because of the Atari 2600 that I developed my love of gaming. It's also the Atari 2600 that developed my, which eventually led into my love of the kitschiness and the nerddom and geek culture. It kind of followed step by step up into my overall love of geek culture as it is. And I mean, this was the precursor, and or at least, well, not the flashback, but the Atari 2600. And so when I opened this thing up, what's funny is my sister's husband, when he gave this to me, he looked like he was going to swallow a frog, because he was like, I don't know if he's gonna like this. And afterwards he was like, do you really like this? You sure you really like this? I'm like, yes. Nostalgia. Oh my gosh, such nostalgia. I grew up with this. I played my original 2600 until it broke. And then did everything I could to fix it so I could break it again. I mean, it was, oh my gosh, I played this so much. And so it kind of gives me a bit of a conundrum here, because this is 105 nostalgia level games, and there are people who really enjoy watching nostalgia games on YouTube, because it kind of gives them a little throwback. And I thought it would, and my sister actually brought this up and said, Lion, I think maybe this would be a really good for your YouTube channel. And I mean, certainly it had occurred to me to do something like this. But it kind of made me go, what, is this something I could do? Is this a possibility, like a real option here? I do have some challenges when it comes to doing a series like that, though. Number one, of course, is I don't have a TV. I have a monitor. I have a computer monitor, and I'm pretty sure that all it would take is just an adapter, so that I could hook this thing up to the adapter and the adapter to the monitor, and I'm pretty sure I could play it that way. But that brings me to the second part, which is capture card. In order to make this work, I would have to get a capture card, and the more I've been looking at this, I haven't opened it yet, but it doesn't say anything on here that this is capture ready. So I'm concerned, because most consoles nowadays are built with capture cards in mind, because they know very well that YouTubers, console makers know YouTubers use capture cards and they play their games on these. So they have that in mind when they're building the new systems. So I'm really hoping that this will work with the capture card. Which brings me to hurdle number 3, which obviously you can't see that, but I'm holding 3 fingers up right now. Is that I've never used a capture card before. I've never recorded anything like this before, and it's going to be a whole different learning set. And you guys know me and and my ability to be able to adapt to new technologies and stuff. I kind of struggle with it a bit. I mean, heck, I still struggle with this sound system in my video camera. So it's just, I need to get somebody who knows capture cards to kind of walk me through it. So if any of you guys know anything about capture cards, and if you have done anything like this, recorded anything with the Atari Flashback especially, I would really appreciate it. If you got a hold of me, please leave a comment below. Give me some information that I can contact you with, and you will be my best friend. In fact, you know what? I'll even go so far as to say I will dedicate an episode directly to you, in gratitude for your help for this, because I think that actually would be a pretty cool series. Basically, it would just be like one episode per game. I've got 105 games here. I haven't played all of them. I've played several of them, but I haven't played all of these. So a lot of those would be just like complete, like out of the blue. What the heck is this game? um, and so but if that's something you would be interested in seeing, please comment below. Let me know if that's something you would be interested in seeing. Um, Doing so will require some pretty major surgery. So just bear that in mind. If we decide to go forward with this, obviously it's not going to be soon. I have a learning curve I have to overcome. I have finances required for capture card and for adapters, which the adapters should be fairly cheap, but capture cards are not. And it's gonna take some doing. And so if I'm gonna do something, gosh, I keep bumping my microphone. Sorry. If I'm gonna do something like that, I need support from you guys. I need to know that this is gonna be worthwhile. So if this is something you guys want to see, please leave a comment, like the video, just do whatever you can to get my attention to this video, so that I can go, ooh, okay. All right, so there's some interest here. There's some interest here, and I will do whatever I can to make that happen. So that was really exciting. This has been really a great year present-wise. In fact, present-wise, probably one of my best, because my kids got me really good, really cool things for Christmas. I didn't bring. I didn't bring it with me. Shoot. I forgot. I forgot to put all my presents around here. But my kids got me some really cool stuff. And I mean, present wise, I got, I made out like a bandit this year. The and I got to spend time with my family. Sadly, my son and my daughter couldn't make it down for Christmas. I did get to see my daughter during Thanksgiving, which was really cool. Haven't been able to see my son in a long time. I'm very sad about that. But he's really busy in college. It's really hard for him to make it out here. He's in Wisconsin. I'm in California. So it's always a real struggle to try and see each other. But I know he loves me, and I love him, and we'll be able to get together as soon as we can. So what else was going to happen? Oh, I wanted to throw something by you, because the thought of starting a new series here kind of brought up a whole thing in my brain. Because I've got a list of games, just a full list of games that I want to do for my channel. And there's just not enough time in the day to be able to do them all. As it is, I'm struggling to do one video per day simply because of all the extra time that I'm having to put into Uber in order to pay the bills. In order to make ends meet, I've been having to work a lot more hours than normal. I'm averaging about 12 hours a day. And maybe taking one day off a week, and actually for the last couple of weeks I haven't taken any days off at all, because things were really tight this month, because it's Christmas. There's presents to buy, and also because since I'm leaving the military, I had to turn in all of my gear, and unfortunately I was missing some of my gear, and that ended up being a fairly hefty bill that took a pretty big chunk out of my savings in order to pay. And that was because it wasn't because I lost it. It was because it was stolen from me during my last deployment. And so basically this month has been a little tight. In fact, one might say really tight. And so, I mean, I'm going to pay the rent, and I'm, going to make sure that I'm fed and all that. But this is the closest I've been to in a long time, like skating that razor edge. And so this is going to be kind of a skimpy month. So my whole point of that was time is really, really tight. And it's going to be tight even after this little razor edge period, because until I can get another job where I'm able to get paid a halfway decent wage and I'm not having to work 12 hours a day, and then on top of that do another 3 hours a day on this channel. um, it's a pretty hefty time commitment that I'm facing. So as much as I want to go back to 2 videos a day, it's just not possible. As it is, I'm struggling to do one per day. And I don't want to reduce it any lower than one per day. You guys deserve one per day. I enjoy this, so I want to keep doing one per day. Um, but I have all these games that I really want to try, and I want to showcase them, and I want to play them, and I want to do them. But how can I squeeze them all in? It's just it's really become a time crunch. And so my question to you is, up to this point, I have primarily been doing one season, or not one season, one game series at a time. I do it all the way straight through. And when I had like when I had 2 shows per day, I would do a second game and I would run them parallel to each other. Um, and I even at one point went so far as to run 3 series at a time. And I think at one point I had 4 series at a time. And I would kind of alternate where I could. But that really wasn't very popular. People kind of liked it when I was running them parallel. I had 2 series at a time and I was running them parallel. But it became a lot more of a struggle when I was having to do 3 at a time and even 4 at a time. I felt like I was spreading the series too thin, because these are telling a story. Each one of these series tells a story, and every time you interrupt the story, it kind of takes you out of the experience. And so I have, for the most part, been trying my best to maintain my series without interruption as much as possible. But if I'm going to do that, if I'm going to have a second series, I'm either going to have to do 2 per day, which simply isn't possible, or I'm going to have to start alternating days. Especially if I do 3 or 4 series at the same time. Then it's going to be, instead of getting your daily fix of Lion playing My Time at Portia, you'll get like every 3rd day or every 4th day. And I know a lot of you will be upset about that. A lot of you would not like that. A lot of you really like the series and you want to see it all the way through. And some of you would be okay with it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you would be like, well, Lion, do what you need to do. We just enjoy watching you. But I want to be able to kind of help I want to be able to be as broad in crowd pleasing as possible. I mean, I do this for you guys. I do this for me, but I also do it for you. So I would like some input back on this. My thought on this matter is that the way My Time at Portia is currently going, it's looking like it won't see a full release for another few months. And I still have quite a bit more to go in My Time at Portia. There's still a lot to this game, guys. Believe it or not, even though we're on episode, almost 200? What episode are we on? I don't even remember anymore. Let's see. Looks like I've uploaded up to 194. So, and by the end of by the end of the year, we'll be at like episode 192, and like by the end of the first week or 2 weeks, we'll be at episode 200, and there's still going to be more beyond that. This is a huge series. It's going to be going for a long time because it's a huge game. And I love it too much to quit. I don't want to quit it. I want to continue going on with it. But it presents a problem. Either I have to start interrupting the series in order to put in other games, and so the series will end up being every other day or every third day. Or I continue on with my time at Porsche until it's done, and I don't start any of these games for a long time. And even then, the next game will go on. We'll play that next game for a long time. And I guess my real question is, do you guys want to kind of immerse yourself into the gameplay like I have? Or are you okay with splitting up your immersion into multiple different series at the same time, still going one per day? Um, I've been tossing around the idea. On one hand, yeah, it would work for me. On the other hand, boy, it's not. Because recording multiple series at the same time, it's still a big time commitment. Having to split up my recording time into 2 and 3 and 4 different games at the same time. It sounds like, oh well, what's the big deal? Just like use the same amount of time and just play 3 or 4 different games. Yeah, yeah, it doesn't work that way. Not with the kind of games that I play. I mean, if I were playing Fortnite or or PUBG or like some other thing that just kind of does like little sessions, one shots, then sure, no problem. You could do a bunch of one shots with a bunch of different games, kind of like Omrecker does. Omrecker does a lot of one shots. He doesn't play anything that has a full story, like an overarching story, so that really works for him. And for people like Stacy Plays, who she has an ongoing like Dogcraft series, and that she's able to kind of, but she's even she has gotten to the point where she's kind of putting a little bit here, putting a little bit there, an episode here, an episode there, and I mean, as anyone who's done YouTube for a long period of time knows, eventually this wears you down. It's difficult being able to be on point and do this kind of stuff over and over every single day, and be able to put the kind of time and effort into this every single day. And you really have to go one direction or another. You have to do either 1 or 2 games dedicated and just go straight off like that, sort of like with ESO with Skyrim, or Oxhorn with Skyrim, or you have to do like one-offs, like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye and that kind of thing. You have to do one or the other. You can't do both. I mean, there are those who have tried, and there are those who make the effort, but they soon find out that wears you down, and it takes away your one-offs take away from your long-going series. You really got to do one or the other, or else you're kind of gimping your storytelling. So I would like to be able to do. I'm thinking about trying to do, I add a second series and maybe alternate one series with the other. I think in this particular case, I want to start with BattleTech's Flashpoint, which I still haven't played yet. Still haven't played it. I've deliberately been saving on that until I can record it. But I've really been, I've been so hesitant to break up my storytelling timeline with my time at Porsche, because I want to do the same thing with all of my games. There's a lot, there's a lot of games out there who have a timeline, who have a story to tell, and breaking up that story just kind of feels weird to me. I want to be able to continue with the same story. So I want to leave that up to you guys. I would like to get some input back from you, telling me, guys, do you want to start seeing more than just my time at Porsche while I play other games here? I would really like to start playing those other games. I won't lie. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. Mainly because there's so many games out there and I want to play them. And I don't want to blow the experience for you guys because I want to be able to experience this for the first time with you so we get honest reactions. So um, I I'm torn. I don't know which way I want to go with this. So I would like input from you guys and help guide me on this. Do you want to just have one game at a time? Um, or are you okay with doing multiple games at a time, even though we're telling 2 or 3 different stories at once? Please leave a comment down below which direction you would like to go with that. And one final thing I would like to do, and I realize this has been a really long series. Gosh, how long have we been going with this vlog? Oh my God, it's been half an hour. Okay, so I didn't realize I had been talking so long. So I am going to go ahead and just do one last thing and say, guys, have a wonderful Merry Christmas and a happy holidays and a fantastic New Year. In whatever way that you celebrate Christmas, I hope that it is blessed and wondrous to you and that you're able to remember the reason for Christmas is for hope and joy, and to remember that there is good things in the world, that there are good people in the world, and this time of year really brings that out for everyone. And I want you to try to remember that and hold on to that, even if you're feeling down. I myself struggle with this season because some of you may know that I struggle with depression and with social anxiety. Not that you see it on here, but believe me, when I'm out in public, the social anxiety kind of comes out. And when I'm alone and I'm not in front of the camera, the depression comes out. So it's I can relate to where you are in here. This is a tough time of year for a lot of people. I just want you to remember that this is the time of year where love can become something bigger than just your depression. I want you to remember that joy and peace and hope is possible. It's possible to reach for it, it's possible to grab it, and it's possible to take that inside. In whatever form it takes. Just go out and find your bliss. Go out and find your joy. Don't cover it up. Don't try to hide from it. Don't try to use substances in order to hide the pain. Go out and find the joy. Don't hide from it. Go out and find the love. Go out and find the hope. Go out and find the peace that comes from within, and don't hide from what's within. I have to always remind myself of that as well. So if I can do it, if I can fight this fight, and I can remember the reason for the season, whatever that reason is to you, then if I can do it, you can. And so I want you to be able to remember that and really embrace this holiday in the best way you can. And if you don't celebrate the holiday, if you don't believe in Christmas and you just feel that it's all just bah humbug, then I hope you have a wonderful day and a fantastic year, upcoming year. And I still wish the best of those things for you. And my hope for you is still the same, even if you don't celebrate it. The lesson is still the same. You don't have to embrace Christmas to hope for hope, to find joy in joy, to have peace with peace. And I realize how simple that may seem to people who are well adjusted, but for those of us who are a little broken, I think you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this particular episode. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, do the liking and the subscribing and the commenting down below. You guys are really fantastic fans, and I truly, truly am appreciative of every single one of you. Have a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful holiday in whatever means and way that it is important to you. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, everyone, always remember that anyone can be a mouse that roars, but it takes someone special to be a lion that squeaks. So embrace your inner lion and squeak on! I am going to get out of this outfit. I am hot. This thing, you guys, you have no idea how hot this outfit is right now. Am I sweating? I feel like I'm sweating.